30 פעמים מוזכרת המילה ארץ בפרשה שלנו, כאשר רוב הפעמים הכוונה לארץ ישראל. היא נזכרת בליווי תארים מאוד מרגשים ועוצמתיים, כמו ארץ טובה, ארץ נחלי מים, ארץ אשר לא במסכנות תאכל בלחם, ארץ אשר השם אלוהיך דורש אותה, כמובן גם ארץ זבת חלב ודבש. יש משהו מיוחד בארץ שלנו, כל כך הרבה יש בה, גם מה שרואים בעין וגם מה שגנוז בה. יש לארץ הזו DNA כזה שיכול לחולל, ליצור, להביא ברכה גשמית ורוחנית. אלא מה? שאנחנו התרגלנו אליה, מקבלים אותה כדבר מובן מאליו, ואנחנו חווים רק את החיצוניות של הארץ, את הפרקטיקה, ולא שמים לב למתנה שבתוכה אנחנו חיים. כמו איזה אדם שיש לו טופס לא מלא עם כל המספרים הנכונים, שזכה במיליונים, אלא רק שהוא עדיין לא טרח לבדוק את הטופס, אז הוא מפסיד. בואו נצפה בשני קטעים שונים של מבזקס, על היופי והברכה של הארץ ועל החיבור אליה. בעזרת השם מתוך דבריו שמונם יסודיים וראשונים, נקבל דחיפה לצאת הדרך להכיר, להעמיק, לברר, ובעזרת השם לחוות גם יותר את מהות הארץ הקסומה הזו של העם הקסום שלנו, ארץ אשר עיני השם אלוהינו בה מראשית שנה ועד אחרית שנה, שהשמחה בה היא הרבה יותר מאשר זכייה רק בלוטו. שיהיה לכולנו שבת שלום ומבורכת.
One very, very miserable winter, I said to Elaine, let's go somewhere where there's sunshine. And we had never been to Eilat before. So we said, let's go to Eilat, it's hot. And we went on one of these glass-bottom boats, and we were the only people on the boat, and we were talking. And the captain of the boat came up to us very excitedly and said, Atam me-Anglia, are you from England? We said, yes, why do you ask? He said, I've just come from England. I've just been to a holiday in England. And we said, how do you like it? How did you like it? He said, wonderful. The buildings, so old. The grass, so green. The people, so polite. And then he looked around him, and in those days, Eilat was, just the desert, I have to tell you. And he looked around at these bare, barren, brown hills. And an enormous smile came over his face. And he said, Aval zeh shelanu. But this is ours. Friends, there are other nations, other cultures, and other creeds, each beautiful in its own way. Aval zeh shelanu. But this is ours. Let us wear our identity with pride. Let us always be true to our faith and a blessing to others, regardless of their faith. And we will bring blessings to the world. Thank you very much indeed.
No religion in history has been as closely tied to a land as has Judaism. That connection goes back almost 4,000 years from the first words of God to Abraham. Leave your country, your birthplace, and your father's house, and go to the land I will show you. No sooner had he arrived than God said, to your offspring I will give this land. 7 times God promised the land to Abraham and promised it again to Isaac and Jacob. The word tshuva, often translated as repentance, literally means homecoming, in a double sense, spiritually to God and physically to the land of Israel. For Israel is the Jewish people's place of destiny, a tiny land for a tiny people, yet one whose role in religious history is vast. It's the land to which Moses and the Israelites traveled across the desert, the land from which they were exiled twice, the land to which our ancestors journeyed whenever they could, and which they never voluntarily left, never relinquished. Jewish history is the story of the longing for a land. The Holy Land remains the place where Jews were summoned to create a society of justice and compassion under the sovereignty of God. And though it was subsequently held holy by Christianity and Islam, the centers of these other faiths were elsewhere. For Western Christians, Rome; for Eastern Christians, Constantinople; and for Muslims, Mecca and Medina. There are 56 Islamic states today, 82 Christian ones, but only one Jewish state. It is the only place on earth where Jews are a majority, where they enjoy self-rule, where they are able to build a society and shape a culture as Jews. The Balfour Declaration in 1917, subsequently ratified by the League of Nations long before the Holocaust, was an attempt to rectify the lingering denial of a nation's right to its land and the subsequent persecution of Jews in country after country, century after century, in a history of suffering that has no parallel. The Jews who returned were not strangers, outsiders, an imperial presence, a colonial force. They were the land's original inhabitants.